All right, hello again. Now we're on lesson 2 from unit 1, what, how, and for whom to produce. So, societies, and again, societies are countries, societies around the world face three important economic questions. That's what should we produce, how should we produce it, and for whom should we produce it? Okay? These questions are important to determine what and how to use the resources to meet the needs and wants of the people, right? Every country has a different way to answer these questions, okay? So, question number 1, what to produce? So, scarcity, like we talked about in lesson 1, is having limited resources, not a lot of resources, but unlimited wants. So, this affects how we answer this question, what to produce, right? So, if you don't have a lot of resources, then there's not a lot of things you can produce in that country or society. Okay. Consumer demand is another important and crucial role in determining what to produce. Consumers are people that buy things, right? You and me are consumers, right? We buy things, clothes, food, etc. So we have some say in what the country should make, right? If everybody wants to buy computers and technology, then the country has to somehow produce it or get it here. Okay. Another thing is available resources. What do we have? What's available for us to make things out of, right? If we don't have a lot of resources in a country, then we can't make a lot of things that we want, right? Again, limited resources, unlimited wants. Next question answered is how to produce these things, okay? Every society has a different answer for this question, right? Of how to produce. Briefly, because we are going to cover each system in the future, but briefly, market economies, they decide on how based on businesses, right? Private businesses, right? Who has the money to buy the machines to make those goods, right? So if Apple has the money to buy machines to make iPhones, iPads, then they will make it, right? That's how it'll be made, right? In command economies, the next one, the government controls what is produced and how it's produced, right? So it's controlled by the government. Command, okay? Command, government. Think about that. A mixed economy has a little bit of both, right? It has private businesses making those items, and it also has a government making other items or providing other goods. Okay, so mixed, right? And finally, traditional. Traditional is, think of indigenous people. Think of like how the Menonitas make cheese, right? And they've made it because their grandparents made it and the people before them made it, right? This is they make decisions based on customs and traditions. Okay. Next is again how to produce, but you have to remember technology, labor, and capital play important roles, right? So technology, what technology do the countries have, right? Do they have high technology where they can make cars, they can make sophisticated items, right? um, do they have labor? Do they have the people to work there, right? Do they have a lot of people who work in factories? Do they have a lot of people that have skills to make those things, right? You might have a lot of people, but you don't have the education or skills to run those machines or make those items, right? And finally, we have capital. Capital is things that make other things like machines, buildings, and money, right? So if you invest in capital, right, you can make better things faster, more efficient, and cheaper, and more people will buy. You're starting to see availability of capital, meaning the ability to buy these things, afford these things, is also very helpful in answering how to make these items, right? How to produce. Finally, the third question is for who, right? For whom to produce these things. People can buy, or people who can pay more money can buy more things. So if you have less money, you might not be able to buy as much, right? So are you making things for a lot of people? Are you making cheap items that a lot of people can buy? Or are you making very expensive items that only certain amount of people can buy, right? Here, think of fancy cars, right? Here, think of expensive wines or liquors, right? Only certain people. So for who are you making these items for, right? For everyone because it's affordable, or for a select few? Also, we have programs, right? Against societies, right? We have programs to help other people that don't have a lot, right? So this could be like giving food. Think about those food pantries. Also, money for doctors. Think about Medicaid, Medicare, right? These are all examples of why and how to, or for who to produce these things or make these things for. Okay. I'll give you two examples of two different countries, right? We have the United States. Here, we have a market economy, and a lot of the businesses are owned by people, not the government, right? Think about Apple, owned by a private citizen. Think about Amazon, owned by Jeff Bezos. Think about Tesla, owned by Elon Musk, right? In this country, people own those businesses that make items, okay? In this country, right, businesses make things based on what we want, right? So if we want a lot of these things, companies will make more of it, right? If we don't want these things, companies will stop making them. Think about cameras, right? There's not a need, there's not a want for those old school cameras, so now they don't make many of those, right? Think about cassette players, right? A market economy, or consumers, we play the major decision on what is being made, right? If we want something, they're going to make it. If we don't want it, they'll stop making it. Market economies are competitive, right? So we're going to go for the cheaper item that costs less. Companies are going to compete to make it cheaper. They're going to get better at making items so we can buy them. And again, competition, right? Who can make it better for cheaper? The United States is a perfect example, right, of a market economy. Show you another example of a different economy. This is a command economy. So think about Venezuela and China. In command economies, the government makes the decisions of what to make, how to produce it, and for who, right? Not the people, not consumers, the government. The government owns all of the resources, right? So the government owns the factory. There's no private businesses. It's made by the government, okay? And they try to make the best decision for everyone. Now, in command economies, we have a lot of items that are low quality because they make them at a low cost, so they're not high quality. And again, since it's the government doing these things and not a lot of other businesses, there's no competition. So you don't have to put out a good item because there's no competition. So people have to buy your item because it's the only item to buy. There's no other people. Other um, other countries that are like this are China, North Korea, and the old USSR. So to recap, societies face three important economic questions: what to produce, how to produce it, and for who. Different societies answer these questions in different ways, leading to different economic systems. Again, command economies are controlled by the government and struggle to produce quality products at a low cost. Market economies are driven by businesses responding to consumer demands, and they encourage competition and innovation. And most modern economies are mixed. They have a little bit of both command and market economies. Okay. So remember to take the quiz at the end, and I will see you in class. Thank you for your attention.